Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The Equality and Human Rights Commission, the body that overlooks things like the Equality Act 2010 or the Workplace Act 1992, things like that, has released a code of practice. It's a consultation on how public buildings, such as sports clubs, gyms, hospitals, that sort of thing, should interpret the law, the Equality Act in particular. And this is obviously following the Supreme Court decision a couple of weeks ago that's found that a woman is a woman by definition of biological female at birth. They've actually updated the definition within the Act itself from saying sex that was recorded at your birth or the sex you have acquired by obtaining a gender recognition certificate to legal sex is the sex that was recorded at your birth. And you notice they use the word recorded and not the word assigned, because no one assigns you a sex at birth. They merely record it because it is what it is, because your sex is determined at the moment of conception. Anyway, the key proposals that they've put down in this act are sensible ones. They say that single-sex services cannot call themselves single-sex services if they also include transgender people of the opposite biological sex, which is obvious anyway. Yes, just because you call yourself Mary and wearing a pair of slingbacks and an A-line dress does not a woman make. Services can ask, and this is an astounding one. Services can ask someone's sex at birth, including seeing a birth certificate. Well, that's going to be a cracker, isn't it? I don't believe you're a woman. I am a woman, honestly. Oh, well, let's have a look at your birth certificate. Oh, I don't have one. I lost it in the wash, Asking someone's sex at birth publicly, rudely, or offensively could still be considered harassment or discrimination. Well, rudely or offensively is probably covered anyway. Why would you be rude about it in any kind of official capacity? And if you were doing it sort of prejudicially, like, oh, look at you, you're a man, you are, you're shit looking like a woman, that would obviously be offensive anyway. But I'm not sure it's illegal, because I can't say that facts could ever be illegal. I'm not sure about that one. But hey, but publicly, could all real men please stand up and move to the back of the train? I don't know. Trans people can... Now, this is the line that gives me the worry. This is the line that makes you think, because what they've said is trans people can be excluded from some services if it's needed to avoid alarm or distress. Now, who defines what distress is? Who defines what alarm is? I get what they're trying to say, but it's a bit wishy-washy, isn't it? It's a bit subjective. There's no real line in the sand that can be shown there. I object because I'm very, very much hassled and harassed, and I feel alarmed. Even if I don't, you can just say that. It's bad law. I think it's a bad line. Another one where they're using the word can and not must, again, this is problematic, is the saying that sports organisers can stop trans people from participation if it gives a competitive edge or causes safety concerns. I don't like the word can. I think that is one where it must stop, not can stop. It must stop participation if it gives a competitive edge or causes safety risks, because the safety of others must be premier. You can't just have an option of, well, we can stop a man playing rugby against women, but we're not going to. And if women get hurt, well, that's their own lookout. You see, that's not right, is it? Now, I've picked rugby because rugby actually have banned men from participation in women's rugby, but that's not the point. The point is that the line says it can stop them rather than it must stop them. There's some sports, of course, where male and female compete against each other. Horse riding, show jumping, jockeys, female jockeys, and that's fine because the horse does the work. Little sculling and things with boats, it's not sculling. That's power. What's the one where you have the little yachts? Well, the ones where you have the little boat yachting thing that they do in the Olympics. Men and women compete there because the wind does the work. It's a skill thing, not a power thing. So there are sports where men and women can compete. Now, one of the ones I find problematic is snooker. Snooker have stopped men and women competing against each other. And I think that's very, very odd because it's not a power sport, it's a skill sport. And women are just as skilled as men. Why do they split them? I don't understand that one. There may be a reason, and if there is, please somebody let me know in the comments why you think men and women should not compete evenly at snooker, of all things. Chess. They have women's tournaments at chess. Again, I find that odd. Surely that's just cerebral, not power. Again, let me know why you think that's a thing. But there we go. So that's where we're at. They've basically said there's a lot more that can be done to protect women. I think there's a couple of things there where they've used can rather than must, which I think could be detrimental. Could be very detrimental to women safety. Physical safety. I'm not saying that necessarily a male competitor is going to go out and deliberately harm them, but that in a field of competitive sports, say, these things happen. If two people bump into each other and one's a man and one's a woman, we all know who generally is going to be the worst off in that situation. A man said a woman flying could break an arm, a leg, a rib, who knows? These things happen. I mean, men break each other's fingers and everything and bite each other's ears off in rugby. We've all seen it, cauliflower ear and, knuckles, all awful, horrible knuckles. So it's going to be worse for a woman when she comes up against a man doing it. So must, better than can, probably. But I think overall it's welcome that they're enforcing the single sex push in things like hospitals, where it is a must, clinics, things like that, gyms, swimming pool changing rooms and so forth. You want to keep strange men away from young girls changing, don't you? Anyway, let me know what you think. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.